Hey everyone, it's Emily with Canis Outdoors. It is currently November 28th, which means that there is only a few days left for hunting season. If you are lucky enough to have tagged out like myself, then what you're looking at now is not so much hunting and more processing. Now, seeing as this channel is supposed to help encourage new people to get outdoors, I'm not going to make a big video on processing a deer, as that would be super intimidating, but I am going to show you how easy it is to identify the parts of a deer and how easy it is really to be able to butcher yourself at some point. This is just to show you guys that it's achievable and to show off the fact that I got a really nice whitetail this year, so enjoy. I've got a big beautiful whitetail that I harvested this year, and I thought that it would be a great opportunity to show you guys the basic parts of an ungulate. So an ungulate is any animal with a rumen. The reason that they have that is because elk, deer, goats, cows, they're all eating stuff that are hard to digest. So they have 4 stomachs with a rumen, and they kind of generate and mull it around and chew a cud. And so that's what we call an ungulate. Deer, elk, moose, goats, sheep, and obviously cows. So this is gonna kind of cover all the bases for the basic parts of an ungulate. You'll see here, we've got a really nice whitetail, really fat deer this year. I was really lucky to harvest this big dry doe. And as you can see, almost zero waste for the meat, so that's really great. So just really quickly, the basic parts of an animal. So when we're talking about steaks or back straps, what we're talking about is this big section of meat right here that goes along the spine. So kind of that big muscle in your back that kind of hurts sometimes if you lift something. That's what that big, and we're gonna pull it out in one big piece, and we'll either cut it up into some backstrap pieces for roast, or we'll cut some steaks out of it. When we're talking about roast, you can see really beautifully displayed here. Here we're looking at where all your roasts would come from. So here's a roast right here. All this kind of marbling in the meat is a bit of a map to show you where to cut. So that's where you'd get your nice big roasts, and obviously on a cow, that would be quite a bit bigger. Then we get over here, and here's where you're gonna trim kind of all your meat. I did a bit of a hack job here skinning. You're gonna trim all this, and this would be like your stew meat, anything you were gonna do for grind. I still have to wash this deer off because she's got a little bit of hair on her. And all through the neck, you're gonna trim that off as well. Here's what they're talking about when they call like a shank. So it would be, you'd cut this off, and this kind of nice big bone-in piece of meat on all 4 legs is gonna be a shank, and that's something you can slow cook and make maybe an ossobuco out of or something like that. And so yeah, basically it's pretty simple. You've got back straps here, your roast on the back, obviously your ribs and everything right here once that's cleaned up, your trim right here, and then your shanks at the bottom. So it's really not that intimidating to butcher your own animal. There's tons of really great diagrams online, and I'll maybe take a picture of some of the finished cuts so you guys can take a look at what it looks like. Okay folks, so you can see that I've already kind of started dismantling. We've got one kind of shank sitting there, some trim, some stew meat. We'll pull this leg off. And we've got some nice roasts here from that one leg that I had already done. Gotta wipe some hair off those bad boys. But one thing I forgot to mention was where you would find a tenderloin. So funny enough, the tenderloin is actually on the inside of the abdomen, not the outside, like everything else. So it would actually be running right along either side of the spine here. Now you can see marks from where I pulled it out because the tenderloin on a deer is actually so small that it'll dry out as you hang the deer. So there you have it, folks. It's completely achievable to harvest and butcher your own protein. I was completely capable of doing that on my own from start to finish, and so is anyone else. Tune in next week, and we are going to have a bit of an informational video for you on the type of deer you shoot and why that might be important. See you outside.